First of all, welcome, of course. Our first guest first stole our hearts the minute he showed up. Don't freak out. The minute he showed up in our living rooms as Alex P. Keaton. He went on. I know. I told them right before we started taping they're going to wish they had seatbelts on those seats of theirs. So he went on to score big with movies, of course, like Back to the Future and TV shows like Spin City. So much fun. I know, you're all a giddy. You know, no matter what age, what genre, what size screen we're looking at, he is truly one in a million. We love having him at our kitchen table. Please welcome our good friend, Michael J. Fox.
Doesn't happen in my kitchen.
Yeah, does that happen in your kitchen?
No, it doesn't happen in my kitchen.
Not the same, not the same. First of all, last time we chatted, you promised you were gonna go on a vacation. Did you ever get one?
Yeah, I've been on a few vacations since I last saw you.
Yeah, you're nice and tan. You look great. Where'd you go?
We went down to the Caribbean with the family over the break, and it was good. And I just got back. I was golfing in Las Vegas.
How are you at the golf?
I'm terrible at the golf, but I'm better at the golf than I am at the gambling. So as much time as I spend away from the tables, it's good.
My husband does both at the same time. He golfs and gambles on how bad he is.
He played at our poker tournament that we had for Foundation.
We have so much fun going to all of your events, but I give as gifts to my favorite poker playing friends. I buy them seats. He has this big poker tournament. It's fantastically exciting.
Well, I have an advantage when I play poker because my whole body is a tell. I'm like, you can't tell whether I have aces or deuces because I move around just the same either way, so it's an in-house advantage.
Hey, congratulations on the Emmy for Rescue Me, one of my favorite shows. I'm sure one of your favorites too. I'm so excited. I don't know how they're going to top last season, but I'm so excited. It's almost time for Rescue Me again. Yeah,
Rescue Me is great. Dennis Leary is just a genius.
He's such a great writer, and your character was so deep and nasty.
He was dark.
Funny, dark guy.
Yeah, it was funny. I mean, I played this guy who was in a wheelchair, was paralyzed in an accident, and he was a former, what do you call it, a sports, you know, kind of crazy parasailing and all that stuff.
Right.
Bungee jumping, and he was
extreme sports guy.
Extreme sports, that's what I was looking for. And he's a really bitter guy, and people, you know, think of me as so kind of happy and optimistic. They said, how do you play that guy? And I said, well, I wake up with that guy every day. I just don't let him out.
You just try and keep him in a box. This guy was dark, man. Really dark.
Role model for the masses.
Yeah, but it must have been so much fun to let that guy out of the box.
Yeah, it was great. And Dennis, like I said, Dennis is so smart and such a good writer and such a good actor.
Yeah.
And so work with Dennis was really, it made it easy.
I think he's brilliant. I think it's one of the best shows on television. I love it. Can't wait for it to come back. So I wanted to know, this really occurred to me a lot because you know, Michael's in the those Come Visit Canada commercials all the time with Ryan.
They were on all the time.
They were on every 5 minutes during the Olympics. I was like, man, it must be rough for you to watch, especially the hockey. I mean, who were you rooting for? Did you feel it all torn?
Well, no, I was, you know, I've lived in the States for 30 years, and I've been a citizen for about 10 years, and I love America, and I love being here. But when it comes to hockey and
there was no contest. Sorry.
You know,
so you were wearing a red jersey then.
I love the Canadian team, and it was great. It was a great tournament. The American team was so great. It was so cool. It came down to that gold medal game. It went into overtime.
Unbelievable.
It was just so thrilling that actually at that point it wouldn't have mattered who won. Because it was just so great.
It was just such an exciting time. It was a great Olympics all around. I think a ton of people watched. So, you love being active, hockey, golf. You still hanging in with the guitar?
Yeah, I still play guitar.
I saw him play guitar with The Who. It was the coolest thing ever.
That was really fun. The Who played at our benefit, and I got a chance to play Magic Bus with them, and it was really incredible.
It was absolutely...
I was doing windmills with...
It was awesome. With Pete, who smiled. Whoever sees him smile.
Yeah, he was in a good mood.
It was such a great night. So your son is off to college now, leaving you grossly outnumbered at home, 4-1.
Yeah, 4-1 with Tracy and the 3 girls, and then we have a dog who's a girl.
So 5-1.
But so then I got another dog. There's a big Great Dane named Gus.
You needed somebody on your
So
side.
Gus and I are the testosterone but then I got Gus neutered, so.
So now it's just you and Gus in the corner,
Yeah.
waiting for scraps, doing whatever the ladies say.
Waiting for the shower.
You know, and I bring up that your son's off in college now because that's sort of what we're here to chat about is a funny thing happened on the way to the future. This is a fantastic little graduation gift. This is the latest book. And I love the message of it. There's more than one way to get an education. And I've said to people over and over again, I'm grossly underqualified for all of my jobs, and I've never been properly schooled in any of them. You know, never went to chef school or anything.
We're doing all right.
But we're doing okay.
Yeah. I don't remember my high school graduation because I wasn't there.
You weren't there. But you got the GED because when Sam was like 4.
Sam was little, he talked me into getting the GED. so I did, and yeah. So I'm technically a high school graduate now, but it took me a long time to get there.
But I think that there's some great advice and a lot of good chuckles in it. And, you know, I mean, the overall effect of the book is keep an open mind. You're always learning.
You're going to get an education. You're going to get
in
schooled.
school or out.
And then also the thing is that however well you plan out your life and whatever courses you take and whatever degrees you get, your life is really going to get most interesting when it goes off the rails.
Exactly.
When it blows up and something happens that you didn't expect, you have some loss or some misadventure. And if you're open to what happens next and you don't try to like do something, you know, to change it, you just kind of accept it for what it is, you'll learn something and your life will improve.
And your life will just open up in a whole new direction. And I love how when you get a few years under your belt and you got a little bit of age on you and you look back on it, you're like, wow, that turned out to be kind of like a fabric, like that really was supposed to happen that way, and that was supposed to happen that way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you know, for me, obviously, the big thing was being diagnosed with PD at 30, which is not the way I thought my life was going to go. But it's just so many things with the foundation, with the way it made me reevaluate my life, the way it made me reevaluate time with my family and what my priorities were, and the fact that I was able to start the foundation and
Take you on a whole different course.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wanted to throw out a couple of facts and figures. You know, the Michael J. Fox Foundation has invested now, it's the largest private fund of its kind in the world, and it's invested now over $175 million in PD research. Which is so, I mean, I get chills.
A lot of which has come from you.
Thank you, my friend.
She's been tremendously generous to us and
I just get so inspired when I go to all these events and you educate yourself at how much is being done, and I think you're right at the brink. I think it's so important for all of us to try and get to the ultimate goal, which of course is a cure.
Well, the big lesson is with all this stuff, whatever it is that, you know, if there's other things that are important to us and causes that we care about, is that none of this stuff falls out of the sky. I mean, it's really important for us to take the initiative to push things and to ask questions of the people that we need to ask questions of and inspire the people that we need to inspire. And
have a big mouth about the things that concern you or move you and do something. You can do so much more than you think you can do. And I remember the first time we ever visited, it was because there was a young lady here from Team Fox who flipping pancakes at her school, remember? She raised like $64,000.
Pancakes for Parkinson.
It was unbelievable. And, you know, every single person, I love that theme, too, with your organization, that you really strive to express that to people, that every one of us can make a conscious choice to make a difference in our communities, in each other's lives. And it can start with something as simple as making pancakes for your neighbors, mentoring a kid on your block. It's something you're good at. You can be an educator and a mentor, which is another great theme.
Yeah, exactly.